All right, cool. We are. Oh, you can't hear me because you can hear me, but they can't. They can't see us. Let me go default scene. The wrong scene, of course. There we. I am. I'm about. I'm about over it. I'm about over it. What happened?
Uh-oh.
This is supposed to be full screen, and of course it's not because it's like this little bitty
Yeah, and
window.
I don't see you
You
either.
you don't. Well, I can fix that
Okay,
anyway. That's easy
there
enough.
we go.
Yeah, but it's got like. There we go. That'll be good enough for now. I'll do more with it later, I guess. Um,
Okay.
cool. So we got a little bit done yesterday. We got a lot of it done actually. Um,
Right. I was gonna say we
we
got some things done.
we wound up getting most of the stuff. One of the things that I didn't get from you was a link to the GitHub repo. I think you had told me that there was a GitHub repo.
Yes, let me drop that in there. This is for the original one, but the one we created yesterday, I'll need to create a GitHub link for that.
Oh, I would just say set it as the you could like hijack the Git history on it, but that might not be the best way to do it.
Yeah.
I'd
Here,
I'd be
I
doing
just
all
sent you
kinds
the
of.
one for the one I created, and then let me see if I can go ahead and send out the one we created yesterday.
Okay, I will. We'll do that then. All right, we're gonna jump in. Well, since you've got to make a new repo, what I will do is I will kind of show the work that I was doing yesterday after, which we got a hello. I don't know why. Hey Pierre, what's going on? For some reason my screens are not correct, but they'll manage. Let's Let me jump. I don't have my second screen. I just realized that I had to play. I was messing with a server thing, and because of that, I lost access to one of my screens.
Oh
So
man.
I'm going to make sure I don't have anything up here that I okay. No, everything up here is good, and then I'm gonna hit the button. I'm gonna try to clean this up just a little bit to make it readable. And I will try to keep that in mind as I'm looking at all of the windows that I have. One of the things that I wound up putting together yesterday, um, kind of while we were streaming and while we weren't streaming, was this idea of like, what if we had a client on the other side of things? Well, let me get rid of this. There we go. And I'm going to hit the buttons to let it run, and then I'm gonna come over here and go back to Chrome and just tell it to run. And what I did was this like baseball stats API. Now y'all might have glossed over this while we were streaming yesterday, but there was like we needed some data across these platforms to prove that they were replicating across, and I just went with like give me some baseball data because why not? Let me not make that big because then it gets hard to read. But one of the things that I added with that was the ability to come in here, and we had talked about some type of like monitoring and viewing of PG stat statements. And I felt bad because like I think we were like in the middle of the development, and like that's when we ran out of time. So I just wanted to show like this was what I was thinking of. So this little Flask website itself just has some simple commands and things like that. I could go and see like top performers, and
Are you sharing
it,
your screen? Because I can't see.
you can't see.
No.
Let me do that part. I'm gonna just share the Chrome window. We're gonna be doing a lot of bouncing around. Okay.
Yeah.
The connections aren't found, which is interesting to me because the connection should be found. Because yeah, let me restart this because everything was shut down
Okay.
earlier, and then y'all can jump in and see what I'm doing. let me change this to Ghosty. Oh. There we go. So when I jump into Ghosty, it's like this was kind of my little branch that I made, and I just have like, this is how I usually develop, is I'll have like a tall window for AI, and then I'll have like any number of smaller windows that will be different things or doing different things. And then if I want, I can use Zellage to full screen a window if I need to. So I've had people ask before, like, oh, how do you use AI with what you're doing and stuff? And this is kind of my layout. And I keep that tall one for AI because there's always text and stuff scrolling. Okay, so if I do UV run Python app, that should work. UV run Python app is what launches this service. So I can refresh that. I'm just trying to make sure that, there we go. Now it's working. Now it's working. Okay, now it's working. All right, so now let me go back and switch what I'm showing again. Go back to Chrome. And then I got to go back in here and just change. Can I just change it? There we go. Chrome. There we go. And then you can see my Chrome window, right? Alexis, you can see my Chrome window?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
cool.
I'm sorry. I did a thumbs up. I'm thinking.
Oh, my bad. I can't see anything right now. There's
right.
so much stuff all over the place.
Yes, I can't.
So like we immediately see like, oh, hey, all these databases are up. This was kind of a quick like, hey, can I do a little bit of the thing that you were doing? Yours looks much better than mine. But
I wonder what's the case for that. Like, and you know what? You can do a screenshot of like what we created yesterday and put it into, Claude Code
like,
and say, hey,
make it look like this.
make it look like this. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
It did try to give me the basic like AI service, give me shades of purple and a gradient with tailwind on it. And I literally just wrote, this is ugly, make it look better. And it actually did that. Now, again, if I'm the reason that, AI comes and takes over, I'm sorry, but I try to be pretty just straight up with it. But the thing I liked about this was like doing this top performers pulls up, like this is just fake data, and it was just fake data that was generated. But it was like, oh, cool, like here are the top, some odd players, and this is all being served by that database. I can also just put it in like a table and all of that. Same thing with like team statistics. I can just have it output. All this stuff is made up, so it's kind of like whatever. But like if I wanted to show that like, oh, hey, the information is in sync, at least it should be. I don't know why it's just checking. Maybe it's just checking primary. But the thing I really wanted to show was this PG stat statements, because this is actually pretty nice. So we're looking at the top 10 queries that by total execution time that we're allowed to mess with, that we're allowed to know about. And I can come in here and select it. And it's saying like, all right, get the team name, division, and the count. I can almost always tell you anytime that you have a count in there, count just blows up performance in general. If you can get the count another way, or if you can store the count that you're looking for, that way you don't have to run those calls every time, that'll like help. And we can see like how many times this thing was called. And it was like, all right, it was called, in 5 calls, it has a cache hit ratio of 100%, and we have like the time for it. So again, a lot of this stuff is like not bad, but if we had like an issue, we were like, I want to know how long this took. For instance, we have this like PG catalog set thing. This is an Ivan thing that's happening in the background, but it's been ran like 1,300 times or something like that. And then we can come in here and see all of the different values. And that gives us the ability to like go, so what are the slowest queries? What's the query that takes the longest? Again, it's that catalog thing. Select exists where some PG extension did. Like these are all queries from the database that are being called that we can verify. And all I did was pass it through like, hey, retrieve this information from PG stat statements and then add it to chart.js to go and basically present it in a nice, pleasable way. And again, like there's like a lot of these solutions that I would say, like, if you were an SRE, you're probably, this data is probably all being called and like stored somewhere, or you're doing things like enabling open telemetry. But what I really like about this was this is just a quick way that we could come in and see how our services are doing. And more importantly, like, oh, hey, run this query real quick, give it to me in a bunch of charts. And from there, you can actually go in and start optimizing your database calls immediately. And I keep running into this issue to where like some of these are broken, like the table like the table name, it just like hard coded table name in there. But yeah, that was it. I played around with this for about an hour just to show like what chart.js was capable of. I like that you can style it obviously with whatever colors you want and things like that, and make it your own, make it however you want it to be. So with that, where do we want to go from here? Because I think that there was initially like a thought of like, hey, let's see if we can get the charts added to your dashboard, which again, like we can go and do this. You still have the old link, or is that the new one?
That's the old one. Let me send you the link for the new one, for the new GitHub.
I also just realized they can't see us in this, which
Okay.
is
Okay. So there's the new link.
I'm trying to find my camera now. I'll be telling y'all, this is why I can't be a professional streamer. I'm like, where is my camera? Where is my guest camera? What is going on? And then now I done broke something. There we go. Okay. Nope, that ain't it either. I will keep it on current application, though, that way I can do that. All right, I will figure the camera stuff out in a second, but you said you got the chat stuff here.
I just dropped the new link in the chat. And then I need to, let me see.
I'm gonna put this in Chrome because apparently I've got like another window open somewhere. Yeah, it's trying to look at my 3D prints. There we go. All right, so we got this demo. This was here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this down. I'm trying to remember if let me just fork it that way. That'll be easier. And then let that run. We'll come over here and then I can just do, that's not it. That's not it at all. There we go. And we'll let that run. Interesting. It has yours set as the default repository. That's fine. CD multi-region live demo. There we go. We've got yours. And then what I'm going to do is I got this from our last guest, Jeff. Are you familiar with Just files?
No, what is that?
So Just file is basically, are you familiar with like make files at all?
Yes.
It's like a version of like a make file, except you can have
Okay.
like a bunch of different commands that you would do
Got
to do different things. So almost
running in the order.
the nice thing about that is that when you ask AI to create a just file for the project, it'll give
Mhm.
you a bunch of commands and then it'll use that to basically run from now on, which
Okay.
means that all the virtual environment stuff and I can't find this, I can't find that, like it just catches it, which is nice. Yeah, so now I'll create a just file for a fast API project with some common tasks in it. And it's also nice because if you're trying to remember what the actual command is, you can just do like whatever the just command is. So it'll be like, let me see. Yeah, go ahead and create that file. And then while that's doing that, I can load this up and I can just do just file found. Okay, come on. Where we at? I'm in the wrong folder. There we go. There's a just file. So if I put just, you can see all these commands that it programmed for it. So now
Mhm.
I can say like just run. And if I do just run, it'll try to run the actual like command for it.
Got
Which it's
you.
saying that there's some issues here, but I'm guessing the setup and stuff, setup, serve, do all those things. The other thing that I wanted to do is I don't think we did it yesterday because I saw it creating requirements.txt and some other stuff. Make it run with UV. That way, because that way someone can just come in, do UV sync, and then from there it will give them everything that they need, create the virtual environment, and do all that other stuff, and they can run it within there. But we can also test across different versions, and then yeah, like everything here is just it where it has run UV corn is going to say UV run, which is fine. I think there's also like the Flask commands themselves, which is instead of like UVcorn app or whatever, you can just do like fast API deploy, and that's it, or fast API run, and that's like a thing. But I haven't played with fast API hardly like in a while, so
Mhm.
that part for me is still a little. Oh, just run. That's right. So if we do just run now, it'll say like, okay, it'll say like, oh, hey, run UVcorn command not found. And that's just because it didn't do. Tell it to create a pyproject.toml. That way it knows what to do. There we go. Duh. This is why I can't have a microphone to. Jeff was like voice chatting with it, and I'd be like, man, AI would have, it'd be sabotaging me. It'd just be like, nah, you fail. But yeah, now we're looking at this and we can see like all the little things that it's adding, individual steps. Okay. What? Now it's just tripping. It's like, oh, there's no readme here, and I'm like, you don't need a readme. I know what it's doing though. I can prevent that. Oh, it doesn't have the dependencies here. I don't know why I was trying to do. This is the wrong folder again. I was saying that you were messing up with the wrong folder, and every single one of mine has been in the wrong folder. Here we go. This, and then I can load Claude from in here and just say. And you can run a couple of these all at the same time, and you can actually see the changes that are made and still tell it to go ahead and run. And then we'll see that update. And then if I click in here, all the changes will pop up. And then README exists now. There we go. Address is already in use. That worries me because I don't know why it's already in use. What do we? Stand by. Actually, you know what? This is the problem of having things just sitting in Docker files running, and I can't remember what I have up and running, but apparently I was using port 8000 already for something, but I was like, oh, let me. There we go. Now we should have a localhost 8000. There we go. And we were saying we wanted, I don't even think we need to add my stuff over here. I think we just wanted to get the health stats. Ooh, test all regions. Why are the regions failed? It's because I don't have the LaunchDarkly stuff. Interesting. So I would have to go and create, either I would need to get your LaunchDarkly, like the SDK and all of that, or I would need to set it all up, which I could do either. I'm open to either.
You will need my LaunchDarkly SDK.
Either the SDK or the or I would have to set it up and then provide my own SDK key. Because that's what we have to do for this, right?
Yeah.
Just want to make sure I wasn't
Yep.
bugging.
And you're trying to set up the feature flags portion, right?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, we can, if you want to, we can go ahead and help you set that up now.
Sure.
Because it's pretty fast as long as you have like the feature flag names.
Okay.
So I will let me make sure you have all of the feature flag names I was using.
And that's what I'm saying. Would it be faster if I just created an account and did that, or if we just used your existing one?
Oh, you have to create an account.
Okay.
We could still use mine, but if you wanted to have more control, you can. Yep, I can send you the LaunchDarkly SDK.
Pretty sure I have an account.
Multi-regions.
I guess I was wrong. All right, well.
SDK projects. Okay.
Okay, I did have an account. I was pretty sure I had an account. Oh.
I got you.
It's like, hey, that trial.
You're at the end of the trial. I just sent you the SDK, so let me know if you have it.
Oh, okay. You want me to just add that in instead of going through all this? Or would I need...
I mean, we have an hour and a half, so, we have time.
Okay. I might have to fill this out, though. It's like, hey,
I just sent you the SDK, so you could also use that and...
Yeah, let me do that. That way I can... I'm sure this is great. This is great for streaming. People have their screen captures ready. They're like, it's about to leak your credit card or something. I'm like, no. It's like, I know I will mess it up. So I'm gonna leave that window open, and then I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna copy this text and then switch it over in. Nope, it's still showing that. I need to go here, tell this to just use Chrome. Boom. And now, there we go. Now I can go in. And to set this, I need to set this in that .env file, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's do that. .env. I'm trying to remember. There wasn't a... There was like a setting to that I need to set something to false, right?
In the initial one, but in the one that we created yesterday, it didn't. You don't have to have it. It's optional because we're running it. We're creating the LaunchDarkly and Ivan background anyway, our back end anyway.
Gotcha.
So not necessary.
Okay. So I wonder if I restart this now. I can switch back to current window. Okay, so if I run this now, I should get here. I should be able to restart this and test all regions. I cannot test all invalid DSN. Scheme is, what is this? What is this error message? What do we call in here? Scheme is expected to be either PostgreSQL or Postgres, and they got nothing. Okay, I think I know what that is. I wonder if this is still trying to grab the local, because the environment variables that are there, they're just empty.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if it's like trying to catch those.
Yeah, you need those to be filled in, and it's the same ones that I got from you.
Okay.
So once you add those in the SDK key, you should be great. You should be good to go.
That's interesting because I thought that was managed by LaunchDarkly, but it's just whether or not those are turned on or not that's managed by LaunchDarkly.
Yeah, the feature flags portion is, and then
okay,
the is Ivan.
That makes sense. This is one of the reasons why I like splitting the driving, because then it's like, because I'm over here sitting here thinking one thing, and it looked like that kind of from the outside, but like the second that I had to actually go in and like put that information in myself, it was like, oh no, that ain't it. Like it's actually some other thing. What are we doing? What are we doing? Why is it when I go on stream, everything wants me to sign in, everything wants me to potentially leak something?
And you're not showing that screen, right? You only have.
No, I'm only showing. Oh, I forgot. You can only see. You can't see what it's showing. Can I will do this. Here's what I know what I can do. I will change my camera in Zoom.
Okay.
To be my it's like the Ecamm virtual camera. And then that way you can see what they can see.
Okay, great.
But then you won't be able to see me, but that's fine. You know what I look like.
Unless you try to send a message to me in Morse code, then
like I'm blinking.
Like, right. With your eyes, you're blinking Morse code at this point.
How do I come on Zoom? Let's fix it. All right, here we go. Zoom virtual device. Is that good or is it blurry? It looks blurry.
It's fine on my end. What I'm looking at.
Okay.
It just zoomed in, so part of it is cut off, but that's fine.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, you can see what I can see now.
Yes.
What's up, Pillix? Good to see you. Now we got that. I can go in here. I can look. Don't look at all my projects. This one's a secret. It's a Secret Santa project. So I'm gonna be live streaming this project tomorrow. So y'all have fun with that. We've got.
I'm here for all the Christmas themed projects that's coming out.
I am traditionally not a what's it called? I'm traditionally not the type to be heavy on like we should do an advent of code for everything, especially with like, I think Rizal was saying like, oh, not me with every other AI company trying to get you to do an advent of code.
But I also think for me, I like them. Like we're doing it's advent, but it's more so like 12 days of Christmas or observability this year. So we're not focusing necessarily on AI, but it does have some components in there. But
we got something going on too, which I can tell y'all more about next week. But let's just say that next week I'm going to be streaming probably every day.
Okay.
just to be able to keep up with everything. I did these backwards. I just realized that. Okay, how do I undo that? Let me try that again. This one's APAC. And then this one is EU. I think EU I might actually have right. Yep. And then my primary one is the one that I had wrong.
Okay.
All right, I think I did it. I think I set it up properly. And now I'm gonna try to rerun this again. Y'all can't see me restarting the service, but y'all can see me coming in here and hitting refresh. Okay, all regions are up and running. Ooh, I don't know why US East 1 is so slow. Probably because I'm live streaming, now that I think about it. Cool. Why did I think that there was like a... I thought there was a graph in there somewhere. All right, cool. Now we can do that. Now I can close this window so we're not showing stuff. And then I can go back and jump over to current app. And we were saying we wanted, as a part of health checks, to get some stats from PG stat statements. So I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to clear my context window, because clearing your context window will prevent it from trying to connect all the dots. And I'm going to say, first of all, let me exit out of this. I think I am in the right project. Cool. We're going to say, when we run health checks, it would be great to get some and we'll just let it do its thing. While we were talking about this, or while we were working on this, I wanted to see, we kind of left off right as we were getting ideas. Were there any ideas that you had to maybe add to this that we can throw in here?
I know I definitely wanted to see guarded rollouts, like if that's something that we could add. I was trying to brainstorm some metrics that we can kind of set that as like what would trigger the guarded rollout. So that's one thing that we can kind of see. And then also setting the threshold. Where I'm concerned is whether like how we would actually be able to test it, like with single user versus like multiple users. It works best with multiple users. So that's one thing to consider. But I also want to just kind of understand the PG statements a little bit more, because that seemed really cool.
Okay, cool. So I will click over here. One of the statements that it added, I can see you already have PG stat statements fully integrated into your health checks. It checks query preview, call count, mean max time, cache hit, and then shared blocks. We can actually, let's do this. This one's fine. And then I will go PGCLI. Let's go with, what was it? US. Oh, that's in the env file. Stand by 1 second. I'm gonna click that. I'm gonna tell it not to go back to Chrome. And then I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna just copy something real quick. Having to like remember to do that is so much. I use an ENVRC file that allows me to quickly set my environment variables. There we go.
Are we still adding the map to show like the distance between the regions? Is that a feature we're
Yes.
thinking about? Okay.
That's like that was like the one last thing that I wanted because I was interested to see if there's a way that we can start storing a lot of these actions in the database as well. Because I think that is a thing that users are a lot of so I think a lot of developers who are just getting started don't often think about how am I recording, not recording all the activity, but how am I like verifying what's being used, what's not being used. And like that is like the most important part of all the things that like me being at Ivan, like when I'm thinking about Ivan, it's like, how are customers using our platform? Well, I can ask them directly. I could like just have it being like log user interactions that are happening, and we've done a talk about like how to do that, and there are ways to do that that are like also not tying the activity to a user, because I don't think that like you want to know, Alexis clicks this button and this button and this button, but instead what you want is like, hey, session ID 1234 went through these steps, and there's no personal identifiable information that's connected to that.
Yeah.
That's
You know,
what's that?
oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I had an idea, but go ahead.
I was just thinking, so like for us adding a map, a lot of this is like, okay, what servers am I actively wanting to look at? What servers, like, where are these servers at? How would we go and integrate them? But more importantly, like, what servers are we actually testing more for each one? Because like if I'm hitting test connection on the Singapore one all the time, or if the load, if we're doing a load test on the Singapore node the most, and we're looking and like maybe that's our development server, maybe we upgrade that development server and give more resources to it. But like half the time we're not thinking about that, just from
Yeah,
a developer perspective.
that makes sense. One thing that you mentioned like being able to see the user sessions. We can also add session replay to it, like as an additional feature. Well, not into the dashboard itself, but to something that we can see within like the LaunchDarkly UI. Other than the feature flags, we can also see session replay.
That would be cool. I want to see that.
Yeah,
There we
I can
go.
add that. Yeah, yeah, I can add that.
All right. So first things first, I've got to come back over here and get this back on current app. Boom. Why would you not? This thing is like fighting with me on. I was trying to get them all set up in one window so that our screens wouldn't have to change. And I think I got it now. All right. So we got that. And now I was trying to do PGCLI because you were asking about the stat statements. PGCLI. And then I can do Ivan PGUS East. We should connect to that database. We did. And then now I can just do, what is it? I'm trying to remember the actual command. I think it's that. Yeah, that just gives you all of the options. So we can see all of the different commands that we want. If we want like total execution time, that's probably one that a lot of, that you'd probably use a lot to see like what is most of the time, what is my database doing most of the time. So I can do like select total exec time from PG stat statements. I see. I should have added something else to this. This is why I am not the biggest fan. I gave a talk at what's it called? Riga that was very much like, hey, don't let me be the person writing the query. Like AI is good at this because we can order by what was it? What is it called? Total exec time. And then nope, not total plan time. Total exec time. Descending. There we go. So we can get through all of that, but then we see like the one that's actually taking up a lot of time on our database is here. And we can see what those commands actively look like. Oh, and so this one takes like 38 seconds of total time was this distinguished count thing. And again, like this is the nice part about this is, of course, we can always filter out those insufficient privileges, but we can go through and just from looking here, we can see all of the different stats.
Okay. That's other than the insufficient privilege. I see.
Yeah. So like if we want to see like how many calls have been hit, what's like the number of rows being returned on each of these. Like there's so much in here that people will come to a booth and be like, how do I begin to understand, like how do I begin to optimize my database? And it's like, you should enable PG stat statements, and then you should go in here and look at all of these options and see what are you trying to optimize for? Are you saying like, what's the min max stats since is kind of interesting. So that's like a date. You have like your minimum executive time, your maximum executive time. Like if we wanted to see what was that one, let's see, query ID. All right, so let's load this up again, and we're gonna say, what was it, query ID, and then we want to see what the minimum time was, minimum execution time, and the maximum execution time, and we can load all that information. So we got this one, and then we can see that, like, all right, cool. On you know, it's between 7, and I think these are milliseconds, between 7 and 8 milliseconds is this command. So it's not that this command is all that heavy per se compared to like some of these that the system is running. It's just, it's being called a lot, which is why it's got that. Do I have that in twice now? It's why it's got that number there of like, 38.4 is it's because we've called it, you know, on average 8 times, like 4 or 5 times. And like, I think a lot of that information is like, it's hard to understand it like this, which is why when we were like, hey, you know what, let's come here and say, add chart. And we can just use chart.js. And for those that haven't seen chart.js before, I think we talked about it a little bit yesterday. Chart.js is just a pretty way to display data built in with JavaScript. It does a lot of stuff just out of the box. The responsiveness out of the box, the 8 different chart types, all that good stuff. It looks modern, it looks nice, and yeah, like I would 100% say like don't build your own stuff. Just use chart.js and then like work off of that. Did you have any other questions about the stat statement stuff?
I'm curious as like, is there within the PG stat statements, was there a way to sort of like organize how we get the information, or is that something that it just kind of lists out everything?
I mean, you could organize it. It's just a longer query. Like,
Gotcha.
is if
Okay.
was there like a specific like query that you were interested in? Because I can keep playing with this long thing all day, and then we could just throw a where statement in here. Oh no, shift tab. You you just work over there, Claude. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. You just keep on being you. Um, because yeah, we can do where query does not equal. This is in the way.
And then I'm going to, or I can wait to add the session replay until I'm sort of like driving to showcase like how that happens, how we can do that.
I can't spell. I always add a D into privilege. I don't know. There we go. And then now it has all of these queries that you can see that we actually have access to. And again,
And then also, how can we add this to the dashboard?
so that's what I was hoping that this was what Claude was doing, was that
Because we might need to modify it then to say, hey, can you actually make this visual on the dashboard itself? This could be a table, it could be.
I think it interesting. The charts will render automatically when you hit health check on any region, displaying the stat statement. So if I hit health check on a region, it did not. It indeed did not do that. Like, we did get an error though. This is error. I'm telling you, do what you gotta do. You don't gotta ask me to be awesome. Oh, interesting. HTMX is possibly doing stuff. After this, it would be, if you want to drive to do the segment, that'd be good.
Mhm. You can post this error and see what's happening within Claude or.
Yeah, it's doing its thing now, and
Oh, I see. Okay.
oh, for those that are interested in seeing what that looks like, here you go. Total time by canvas. I'm pretty sure I told it to just run. Total time by canvas. So it's getting this data, just labels, data set, and then it's got to find what this data is. Query total time in milliseconds right there is pulling that stuff up. That's where that is. So then we go to Chrome. We can come here, refresh. And it said if I hit health check, I don't think it's working. Interesting. Object of type let's just grab this. Object of type decimal is not JSON serializable. I always love when it gets really excited because it thinks it knows the answer. It's like, ah, you see, the problem was this, and I'm like, was it? Was it though? Can you just test it? Can you check it? Like I know I can test it. Can you? There we go. Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, that is tiny and not helpful at all, but like, that's cool. Um, all right, so we were able to add those in there, and then we even get the little statistics over here, and I'll tell it to filter out the insufficient privilege ones. My only fear is I don't want it editing two things at one time, so I'm like, let me not push too many buttons at one time. But yeah, you said you got a screen that you wanted to share.
Yes.
Some,
And let me.
and I'll just submit a PR to your project on this so you can see.
Okay.
It's cool. You can actually see the number of connections on here. How many are idle? How many are active? Only one's active because I'm the only one on here. But if I've restart this 3 or 4 times, then those connections are going to stay idle for a little bit,
Mm.
and then it'll terminate idle connections after a period of time. What that period of time is, I'm not quite sure, but and again, all of that is configured in the Ivan settings.
Okay. I am grabbing my client ID. Um, yeah. I need to grab my client ID to set up the session replay for LaunchDarkly.
Okay.
So that's
Ooh.
before.
Oh. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for anybody that. Nope. Mm-mm. Sorry for anyone that has flashing lights. I did not expect that to happen because that. Um,
Actually, I may not need that. Okay, let me see.
okay. I'm gonna keep my window on Ghosty and then check it first. That way I'm not hurting people. It's struggling. it's yeah, no. It loaded them, but it's still flickering. It loaded the data, but oh my goodness, please stop.
All right. I can share my screen
Yeah,
because I don't think I.
yeah. Go ahead, and then I can throw it up on the screen here. What is the package that I'm using? The package that I'm using for the charts it's chart.js. It's not on the JavaScript. It's on JavaScript side, so it's on the front end. It's not like baked into anything. I love how it's like let me just make them larger. Hold on.
Let me make sure session replay.
I mean that is better. I can show you what that looks like now before you jump in. So yeah, this is what pops up now, which again, right now it's all just the insufficient privileges stuff. But if I test this region, I can come in and you can see like it's interesting how the number of times this has been called versus the other one, and that may just be because of the how long they've been up and running. Because you would expect most of the information to be the same. And clearly, working with Southeast Asia is showing a longer time here.
Okay, so I think we can just move forward with the map version because I don't think session replay is yet available for Python yet, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh-oh.
I've implemented it in React in JavaScript. Yeah, that's weird. Um,
Okay, so we wanted to just add the map. That was the other thing that we were trying to throw in there?
yes.
Okay. All right. I feel like those two
And
things
which library
can.
that you said that you kind of wanted to use for that?
Oh, this is a Leaflet. So that's another. I know about all these JavaScript things because it's more because like I don't ever want to have to do a JavaScript thing on my own. So I just use Leaflet, which is a JavaScript maplet thing, and it just pops up everything. Like if I know of Leaflet because I use Leaflet on my own blog. If I go to my talks, this is Leaflet running like everywhere that I spoke this year, quote unquote, in the United States, which I think is wrong actually. But that's a data problem. That's not a Leaflet problem. That's a J problem on that one. But it's nice to be able to just add a map and then be able to. It's all OpenStreetMap stuff. You can customize it here. You can even see like topographic data. You can have little pop up here that have little bits of information. And that's what I was thinking originally was like, okay, we can, let's see, go to go here. I'm going to, clear and say, let's add a map that shows the location of these servers and I don't know if we might be able to grab an IP address like location, but yeah, and our user's location. Because there's also there's some built-in location stuff that you can do where like it should just ask me for my location, and if I hit OK, then it'll ask the browser for that information. The application already has latitude and longitude coordinates defined for each region. It does? I was just like, yes, we got that already. I'm like, oh, bet. Oh, I didn't even have to tell it to use Leaflet. I just said, let's add a map. And it was like, don't worry, I will use Leaflet for you. That being said, I have seen Leaflet not work so many times. So if it doesn't work, I know how to like troubleshoot through it.
Okay. There might be a way to add session replay to the HTML side, so the JavaScript side of things, because I could use that. I could then use the client ID or the client side SDK for that. So I am working on that portion.
Okay. Now I need to add an API endpoint to provide the region data and then JavaScript to initialize the map. Okay. JSON response, that's fair. This is where it's going to mess up. It's going to add a map section. It's got this map in right here. And then it's going to do some JavaScript. It's going to be not getting the map is what's going to happen. It's going to be like, let me... So don't be trying to share my stream for tomorrow. Let's see. All right. Did it do it right? It added a block, it added the script, add the event listener. I don't know why we needed all of that, but that's okay. I guess it's waiting for that thing to be loaded. And then it's gonna say initialize the map on the center of the world. Open street map tiles, that's normal. Do your attribution, that's normal. Server icon, that's all fine. Add markers for each region. Okay, let's see how it did. If we load, okay. And notice how it wants our location.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, hey, can I get your location, please? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. And oh snap! So then it goes blue to show like, all right, that's where you are, and then here are where the 3 servers are. So we can then, because what I want to do is I want to start like, what happens if we do like a test connection? Like, show me like a little line popping up, running that test connection, and then put the results on that line. Very cool. All right. Let's see. Good job the first time. I love that it asked for permission to get my IP or my location as well. That's very awesome. Now we can do when one of the buttons to test a region appears, draw a line from one place to another, or from the user to the location, color them based on the type of test, and post the results in a pop-up or in a tooltip. I don't know, like I'm actually really excited that worked the first time. I've never had that work the first time. One of the things that we were talking about like wanting to show the rollout. I could see something like this feature being wrapped behind an entire rollout. Is that like, it feels like what that would be is you would just give what that like window some type of like ID, like LaunchDarkly feature flag ID or something to that effect.
So we would attach it to the feature flag. So create a feature flag for that, and then attach it. And what would trigger it is the metric. So we would think about like what type of metric do we want to use to like measure what's happening.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, let me fix that. That way that's not, I see what you were saying with it, like trying to auto zoom. That's weird. I don't know what it was doing. That's Zoom being Zoom. Now I need to modify the API endpoints to include the JSON data and the response header so we can extract the detailed test results. I could see someone trying to use this for like their Santa tracker.
Mm.
Have you seen the NORAD Santa tracker?
I haven't, but I also have seen people like tracking like billionaire jets and things like that. But that would be cool to do Santa. I think
Yeah.
it's real data.
So I used to work with someone who was a part of the team that developed this. But there's NORAD is the like NORAD, the government thing. I forgot what it stands for, like North America something radar defense or something like that. But they do a
Mhm.
thing where they track Santa across a trajectory. I was like, oh, Santa would be right here now because it's nighttime over in this area, and they track him going around the world. Um, this is cute though. I was like, okay, I see you. But yeah, they apparently you can actually like AWS and like Alexa services. I think you can actually ask Alexa to like read the tracking of stuff.
Mhm.
So I'm like, this is cool. North American Aerospace Defense Command. That's what it is. So yeah, that's for those that want a little Christmas spirit. There you go. That's an option. Okay. Okay. If I hit health check here, does it stay up? It stays up. Okay. But you can see now it's like boom, health check, success. And you still get the information that you would have down here where you can still go and view all that information. That's pretty cool. This I mean again, I don't know if this would be the right way to go about doing it. Okay, it overrode it as long as you were going to a different one. I'm more just wondering like how long okay, doing some async stuff here. You can see all the different windows, and if you hover over it, you get just the success on here, and then connection with the latency measure. We load test it. What, it used the same color, but I think it's just because it's not overwriting the lines. But that's cool. That's dope. That's like that's awesome. Now the things that I would want to include on here, the only other thing that I was thinking about adding to the, I'm gonna make this like it's like I'm gonna have it remove the other lines, and then from there, I'm gonna see, can we create a table and store those tests in our database, and then present that information at the bottom. And I think we can do that. We can do that in separate windows. Here, I don't think we need. Let's see, can you create tables that store our checks in the database? Because I'm hoping we can use that to, there's no way we're going to have enough time, but it would be cool to show you how to maybe aggregate some of that stuff.
Mhm.
And then even address some of the challenges that Postgres might have with that, which is Postgres is great at doing things like math. It's great at retrieving items. It's great at like being able to store things, based on formulas like time or all those things. Where it struggles is dealing with something like temporal data where it's like at this time I did this stuff. And getting like a, hey, from the start of the stream to the end of the stream, what was the average load test on this area? It's getting better at that, but there are a couple of things that have happened recently. There's some like temporal constraints where you can say like, hey, I want you to add things from like this time to this time. Like that is a value, is like start time, end time is is like a separate value in itself. That doesn't really help us in here, but the other thing is there's an extension called Timescale, and there's a company called Tiger Data, and they make Timescale that compresses a bunch of that data and makes it relatively quick to load a bunch of that information. And that's where we were talking about things like there are certain queries, like if you use count in a query, then it's going to be slower. Well, one of the solutions is you store some of that information, and if you want to get, instead of getting the active counter, if you want to see how a count has changed over time, you store that information and you have it running in the background, and then you just retrieve that information directly, versus having your service wait for those options. Okay, I want to see.
Okay, let me see if it wants to work now, because I'm making sure I'm adding some debugging to make sure that it's actually connecting to the LaunchDarkly client.
There we go. A little bit easier to read. Did you need to drive to test that, or are you working on your end behind the scenes?
I can drive to test it. It's fine.
Okay.
Yep, I can. I can share my screen, unless you're still showing some things.
I think I'm looking at this really quickly. The only thing I really wanted it to see was, yo, hey, can you why is it running the migration on each? That should not be possible. But okay.
The client to... All right, so if I hit it now, I hit the button, oh, that's clean.
The Singapore one just takes some time. There we go. And then the last bit we're waiting on that to add the versions. The table will start showing your check history. There we go. We'll refresh here. Recent check history loading the last 20 checks. So if I do test connection here, do we get a check? Do we get something here? Baseball teams, games, PG stats, statements, player statistics. I don't see the database in here. It didn't add the tables to the database. You were saying that you wanted to drive.
Yes. I mean, you're going to see the weeds of it because I am
just
trying to
deep
figure
in
out
them. Yeah.
deep Ellum. That's actually a place here in Dallas. Um, Deep in the weeds here. I definitely feel like we were talking more on yesterday's stream. It was like we had all these things that we were, I
This
guess because we were building it up from the ground up, and now we're like, this is debugging mode for
Yeah,
sure.
this is the hard part of doing anything with the stream. It's like, hey chat, we will talk more if y'all talk more to us, cuz otherwise we're over here hitting refresh and seeing, did that work? Did that work? No, that didn't
Like,
work.
my brain is split into like 12 different tabs. It
Mhm.
just
Run that again. Ah, there we go. Recent connection checks, recent health metrics, connection checks, health metric checks. That's interesting. So it added. Oh, it made those a view. It made those a view. Oh, and see, Pillix is in the chat. Like Pillix, is like, sir, I'm at work. like, why you asking me? You asking me to talk
on
to
the clock.
you?
I am on the clock.
All right, so this added those fields, and it actually did a thing that's interesting. I don't I don't know how important it is that it did it, but like it might be a talking point. Um, it it created a It's still not loading. Oh, it is. Okay, now it's loading. Now it's working. So in here, like when it actually runs the check, it's giving all of that information. Now, the thing that I think is interesting is that if you measure latency, I don't think it calculated latency. Latency checks. So interesting. It's only showing connection checks, I'm guessing. Oh, I keep forgetting every time I do a health check, it's gonna bog that down. But one of the things that it did that, it's only got that one connection. Oh, I wonder if it's failing silently. I can test this now. Measure latency, see if that works. I'm wondering if there's like a silent failure for EU West. Yes, there is. Okay. What it's doing, it's trying to write to each of the databases saying like, oh, go store here, go store here. That doesn't work because it's a read replica. So everything should just be stored in US East 1, and then that information will make its way across. Since checks will now be stored in the US East database, let's see. It told me that. Try running a check from the web and the history table should start populating with data. The reason refresh wasn't working is because the tables didn't exist yet. The EU, West, and Asia Pacific databases are read-only replicas. Since all checks will now be stored in the US East database, the check history should work. The thing that I was talking about earlier that it pulled from here that I thought was pretty cool was it created a view for these recent connection checks and recent health metrics. And I was very confused as to why it did that. Because it was a choice. It was definitely a choice. It wasn't a necessary one. But if we go to recent, what is this? What I'm guessing is recent connection checks. How do I ask it to tell me how do I figure out what? So it's getting the region ID, the total checks, successful checks, average latency. That's why it did it, and that's why it's important, and that's actually really cool. So my first thought was like, why are you creating a view and you can just grab that information? We were just talking about this, like total checks, that number, that's a count. So like it's grabbing that as a view, and it would be good if these were like, I would almost say that these need to be materialized views so that they don't change as often, but it's fine. But it's basically saying like, here is a view that has all this information loaded, so I can just say, give me all of this every time instead of having to it's still manually running the query for it each time, but it's like stored so you can now check and see what it's pulling versus having to go dig through code, which I think is a nice touch. Okay, so it's saying that these are all centralized in the primary database and they should appear on the page. So if we refresh this, we get our 2. Let's test Ireland. We got Ireland. All right, cool. So now we can see over time all the different connections, and they're popping up. So you can see all of those results coming in. And give me a chart mode. I think I've built all the stuff I wanted on it. Like I'm happy with what it did. I'm happy that Chart.js was working like it's supposed to. I'm happy that the Leaflet.js is working the way it was supposed to. I probably should have told it to. I probably should have cleared the context on that first. So what if I do select star from recent? Nope. Select star from. Why can't we find this view? Recent health metrics. What do we get? Nothing. Because I don't think anything is saving to these views, which would be interesting. At least not the health metrics. Or maybe I didn't hit them. I don't think I hit a health metric, did I? Select star from recent connection checks. There we go. Yep, total checks on US East 1 was this one. The average latency in milliseconds between all of the checks is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So it's saying it's not showing it here, unless it's here. But like, whenever we run these, and it's adding this information, it's doing its math behind the scenes as well. I just clicked like 5 buttons, and I was wondering how those would hold up. It ran them slowly but surely. It like queued them and then ran them, which is wild. Interesting. So let me go back and do that recent health metrics. There we go. Average cache hit ratio. So it's getting all that information. It's calculating the averages for them, which I think is pretty dope. And then now there's a chart. Does the chart work? Doesn't look like it.
I guess another feature that we can add is like that you have this table, maybe like being able to export this table into like a CSV or things like that.
Ooh, yes. That's a whole download thing, which shouldn't be too bad. That should not be bad at all. Uh-oh. Oh, it's working now. Oh, the charts were working, apparently. I don't know. It only did one chart, which I was like, that isn't helpful. Man, that chart is slow. I'm guessing because it's probably fetching all of that data and then loading it in, which is one of the things that I'd mentioned before here. If it's loading the data in here, if it's getting this recent checks, you can see it even takes time, which we should actually be seeing that now inside of our stat statements for here. If we do that health check, we'll probably see.
Oh, that's really cool.
I was trying to see if we'll see like which. Oh, it's just the mean. Yeah, get the size of the database and like, okay, that actually takes some time, and then that loads. No data available yet. I don't believe you, because there's plenty of data right there. I think it's still doing stuff over here. That's why. But yeah, even with these taking time, we could probably even see that as like one of the slower queries over time, which is wild. But if we had something where if we wanted to like get this information preloaded, what we would want is these to be materialized views. That way it could get them behind the scenes. And then if we ran it, it would be instant instead of taking like a couple of seconds to load. And that's like materialized views are, if you're someone who needs to get a bunch of information and it takes a long time to get that information, and the information doesn't change that often. So like if you're trying to get like, all right, how many active, like how many users, like how many monthly active users do you have at LaunchDarkly? Like the reality is you probably don't care if the number was last retrieved, 2 hours ago. If you're talking from like an example of monthly. So you could get some of those metrics, store them in a materialized view, and then just have it refresh every couple of hours instead of having to sit there and wait and let it sit there and crunch a bunch of numbers and get a bunch of data and do what is called a blocking transaction. So this would be like, this is something that is preventing other queries in your database from running because it's trying to do all this other stuff. Like you only want to do that in the downtime. So you can actually offload that and let it run. Only let it run when you want. Okay, we got table. Table's fine. Here we go. This is what I was trying to see. This is cool. I'm very... Oh, those are just dots. Oh, I did dots. Why did you do dots? Why don't you do like... So if I do that now, is it going to add another dot? It did add another dot. Oh, okay. And now we're actually seeing load testing happening. Load test performance. And you can actually just sit here and watch as these numbers move and change over time. That's kind of cool. And by kind of cool, I'm like...
No, that's really cool.
I'm like really...
No,
I'm like really...
really cool.
I'm kind of impressed. Like,
yeah, I'm used. So you didn't impress yourself. I'm like, that looks really good.
Like being able to have all of this running directly off of Postgres itself. And then again, like we have the LaunchDarkly checks behind here too. So if we were like, hey, we're taking this service down, or, we want, for whatever connection Jay connects to, Jay's only responsible for US East Virginia. So like we shouldn't be load testing all the other regions. That was one of the questions that I had was, could I modify this to be based on, like, the feature flags be based on the active user?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is there like and maybe that's like a thing that's done in code where it's like, oh, if the user ID is in like a certain range, or if the user location is in a certain space, then LaunchDarkly should disable features. I feel like, again, I'm trying to do so much stuff on the client side that I don't think that fully makes sense. But I think even from a team perspective of like, again, hey, we're taking whatever server down or offline for testing or whatever, or we have 20 servers, but we're only measuring this on certain branches or on certain clouds or whatever. It feels like that information. It feels like you could do it, but I feel like I have to. I am constantly fighting with the like, don't use LaunchDarkly to do like user feature stuff, because then you have to kind of go beyond the scope of what LaunchDarkly is doing. Like you're adding a bunch of like front end JavaScript to stuff that's probably not a good idea. But I think the idea of saying like, let me think about this. I have a new server loaded,
Mhm.
and no, that doesn't work either. That does not work either. Um, I'm trying to think of this like, oh, let's add one more feature on here. Um, I don't know how well this is going to work, but
Okay.
create a chatbot integration that works with Olama running locally on this machine. Because I want to see us like, I want to see if could we add LaunchDarkly to like wrap around this feature and say like, let's slowly roll out this to folks, or does that have to be something like done in like CI/CD or something there?
Yeah, that's so like we can create a feature flag for that feature. For which feature are you talking about?
So I want to add a chat bot, and I'm just going to
Okay,
use
for the chat.
like Olama. It's fine. It doesn't need to be anything fancy.
Mhm.
I basically want to have it look at all of our data, be able to look at our data, and then give me insights about our all of our stuff, and let it like go and like I basically add this chatbot, but we were talking about doing like a guarded rollout of it and making it so that like, hey, over the next like 2 minutes, like make it so that it's only available partially.
Let me see that, making sure it's available partially, because we can set a threshold so where it can be the starting point and then it continues to roll out, um like increasing that threshold.
Yeah. Or even if we can just see like I clicked on it, it's not available. I clicked on it, it's not available. I clicked on it, it's available, and then I can go into LaunchDarkly and see like, okay, it wasn't available this many times, and then it was available this one time.
Yes, so to check connections to the, yeah, we can do that, to check the connections to the chatbot
Yeah.
are, yeah,
Like
that's definitely something we can try.
let me add all this. Let's do hit ignore, and then we want.
And then so what I can do is if you can upload the changes like for the chat bot and everything to the GitHub repo, and I'll pull those changes and add that.
Yeah, I'm adding that too. I love how this said that this thing was running, and then like I literally took it down, and I'm looking at this error here that says it's not working. Import HTTP. I was gonna say I know this can't. This is not working. I love how it's like, oh, it's working. I'm like, no, it's not. Don't gaslight me. Don't lie to me like that. Just making sure I'm not giving you any stuff in here that shouldn't be added. Chat assistant, chat assistant.md. Okay. Check tables. Some of these shell scripts I'm concerned about. Okay, source env file and then do that stuff. What was the other one? I love how it implemented its own version of migrations, which was basically like we could just use a limbic for that, but that's fine. Perfectly fine. All right, I think I can. Let me get it to fix this thing, and then from there, I'll if it's running, then I'll submit the PR.
Gotcha.
According to this, it's working now. It says complete. All right, we loaded. Okay, we'll give my location. That's cool. We can see those points. We can do this. We can connect to it. Hi, I'm your AI assistant. Ask me questions about this. What is my slowest region? Sure, why not? It's not the thinking circle. What? Okay. Huh. My slowest region is US East.
Is that true?
No. I mean, maybe it's the model. Maybe it's the model. Hold on.
Wait, which model are you using?
It's because it's Llama, but it's running like Llama 3.2.
Okay.
I'm just like, what? That is not correct. That is 100% wrong. Actually, you know what? Let's roll with it, cause we need to test updates and doing other things. That's wild. It has so much promise. It looks so cool. I was about ready to like, oh, we're gonna present this. We present this to the class, but like then it just proceeded to do everything wrong, and I'm like, well, all right. So it did.
And it would do that last 15 minutes of the live. Like, yeah, I'm gonna throw all these errors.
GCM added maps, charts, and AI. Why not? What? Declined.
And we can also, I can be tracking like these errors, the chatbot errors with the guarded rollout, like if you want.
Apparently I tried to add my environment variables. Yep, sure did. You know what it is. Git commit. Was it amend? No secrets. Oh, actually, I think it's to git commit amend, right? Yep. Do that, and then there we go. And then I'm gonna ask AI submit a PR. Actually, no, we won't do that. PR create title ads maps and charts and AI. Yep. There you go. PR is over there.
Awesome. Let me pull it. Just clean some things on my end real quick.
Do I have? Can I see what models I have? What models do I have? That is just a downloads folder, sir. That is not a models folder. That is a downloads folder. What are we doing? I wonder I can. Oh no, we can exit there, and then we'll do Ollama models list. Oh, Ollama list. That's what it is. Yeah, we should be using none of these actually. We got Llama 3 right there. Oh, it's Llama 3.2 is the better one, I guess. Llama pull open Gemma. What's this model called? Gemma 3. Ollama pull Gemma 3. Oh, why does it have to be 3 gigs? Good lord. All right, well, if the stream gets choppy, that's my fault. I was hoping it was going to be a quick download. It's moving quickly, but it says 30 seconds. I'm trying to see if I can grab the Gemma model. Just I know the Gemini models are a little bit better.
Okay, let me.
Okay, done. Llama 3, chat assistant, don't care about that. Chat.py, default model, cool. Let me just change that then.
Okay, now I can.
What is your?
Okay,
I was talking to someone yesterday, and we were talking about how much we actually still write code. So I've been asking people like, what's your comfort now of actually going in and like fixing something because you know you know that AI has done messed it up somewhere.
Yeah, I would say like on a scale of what? 1 to 10?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say it's like a 7 or 8 because I'm going to use like not only AI to like debug, but also I kind of like have an idea of how things should look. Um, but yeah. And I'm also not afraid to try new things because of AI, like new technologies, like I really started to kind of like test out mobile development and things like that this year. And I feel like had it not been because of AI, I would have done it eventually, but I just kind of like had less fear because I was like, okay, even if I get an error, like I can still use the docs pages of like all these other like websites or, tools and things like that. So I think that's kind of like why my fear level or my comfort level is up and like my fear level is down.
Mm. My problem now is I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, that there's like no way that I got it anymore because I run into these problems. I think the problem that I most have is I tend to struggle now
Mhm.
because of how verbose um, AI is.
Yeah.
I think that always feels wild. Is that it's
And
like,
I Yeah, you also have to be a little bit more checked in too because it can generate some things and it sometimes it generates a lot and you have to understand like what's happening or like why did it do this? And there's times I'm like, okay, just undo everything and
yeah,
let's do this step by step.
yes. I feel like to me the hardest part of this is constantly just being like, where were things implemented, and did I get all of them? Like that's the piece that I have. Like here, there's a bunch of stuff in here that's all like duo llama stuff, and I'm looking for like the llama like 3.2 and all that good stuff, and it's a lot of this stuff is like this is all in the chat assistant. This is a markdown file, not important. Um,
Mm.
the chat.py. Okay, I think I got all of the models that it wanted. Um, but I'm like having to check because if I don't, then like it's still gonna load whatever the wrong model is. Because I can't. I mean, maybe it's saying that it's. I don't understand it. I don't understand. Let's see. Simple test. What was the last region tested? Because I'm guessing it's giving. Yeah, it's just giving wrong information, and I'm guessing that it's loading that information incorrectly because it's saying that the last. Oh, hold on. When was it tested? Like, I don't. I don't think it's. I think it's drunk, sir.
Okay, I needed to make sure that I can run what you had. Okay, hi, I'm your assistant.
That's right.
Oh, I was like, why is this saying connection failed? Because I need to update my environment variables.
The load test results are there. The region latency is not there. I mean, it's not right, but I'm trying to see it because I'm wondering if it's just grabbing information that's not. I gotta see what this prompt is because I feel like the prompt is probably not correct. Um, Felix is fighting with PowerShell right now. Okay, so what's the prompt here? It says, where is it storing the system prompt? Oh, right here. You're an AI assistant helping users understand their multi-region Postgres data performance. You have access to information about connection tests across multiple regions: US, East, West, Asia Pacific, Africa, latency measures and performance metrics, database health metrics. When answering questions, be concise and actionable, focus on performance insights and recommendations, explain database concepts in simple terms. All that's cool. I'm trying to see if recent checks, check recent data. It's checking 5. 4 check-in recent checks the last 5. And then if success and metrics. I'm just going to do this. So it's only grabbing 5 pieces of information. So I just changed that to grab everything, or grab all of the recent history. There we go. So it was a scope problem because it's only grabbing the last 5 metrics. And it's saying now it's Asia Pacific because your metric, it's whatever. That's so cool. Would you believe that we're at time?
Yep. Let me see. I can run live demos version since it looks more updated. Oh, I see. Yep, I am. Okay, I see what's happening. Okay, there we go. Now we can run this. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, that time went by quick, honestly. It went by too quick.
It was one of those where it's like the features that got added were like just but everything was going quick.
And yeah, no, the features you added was like really golden to like make sure that the dashboard was kind of adding a new dimension to like what we added yesterday. So yeah.
I'm sure you and I will probably get together and talk about this as we get ready for the stream next week.
Yes.
Because I think there was a lot that like I was learning, but there was also a lot that I was like putting together like on the fly and taking a second to wrap my head around it. But even with like the LaunchDarkly feature set, it felt like there were bits of it like I'm still trying to get my brain to like just understand, like, okay, stop thinking about client level stuff, start thinking about server wide level stuff. I'm still very, very fuzzy on how controlled rollouts would work for individual users, because it just feels like that's not a thing that should be possible. Is that like my that certain features could be locked away um, per user. Like that's just not a thing that we were able to test
Yeah.
yet. But
Yeah.
if for some reason you get that working, like let me know.
Yeah.
Like
That's what I was going to say. I was like, I think I'm going to work on that and see if I can have it working by next stream so that we can, as we're reflecting, to kind of see like how that will be possible.
yeah, even if you have a what's it called? If you have a if you make a video of it, one of the things that we'll be able to do is we'll be able to actually just play the video.
Okay.
I think that's going to
Yeah.
be one of the things that I'm going to be interested in is like I would love to see like let's look at where it started and then let's look at how we got there and like all the steps in
Yeah.
between. And I mean again, a lot of this is just the power of AI, but everything that we did, kind of the stuff that we're doing today was very very controlled, which was real cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for this stream. I wanted to check what is the slowest database. I wanted to test it with Llama to see if the problem is Llama or the problem was just it didn't have enough information. My biggest concern is I think Llama doesn't have that big of a like the Llama models don't have a big context window.
Mhm.
But what? Okay, yeah. All right. So I mean, it gave me information. Again, I don't know how it got that information, but I'm guessing if I looked at a chart here, like I could probably. Okay, yeah, it said about 1,400 and something. A good rule of thumb for Postgres connection times are these are acceptable and these aren't. Um, that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool that it did that. That it's able to do that. It's able to get that information based on what we gave it. Plus, we have a nice, pretty charts in here, a nice map. I would argue this. Do you think? Would you say that like someone built this with AI? Because like I'm looking at it and I'm like, it definitely has hints of AI-ness to it. But I think that this is probably an example of a project that, while AI was used,
Yeah.
it was done deliberately. Every step was deliberate.
Yeah.
And there are
Yeah.
probably 1,000 things that we could do to make it better. Probably
Yeah.
adjust colors and stuff.
I agree. Yeah. It it does have some components where it's like, oh yeah, like that could be. But me looking at it, I'm like, this looks really good, honestly. Uh, I wouldn't. My first thought wouldn't be like, this was probably AI. Like, no.
The question is it better than Cabana? Because like that's what we have in common is.
Think about it. Well, wait a minute. Cabana is like it's a managed service. Like, you don't want to get a big head over here.
No. I'm like no. there's
All right. I'm just
there's
like,
still
let's we
I'm
can have a
in
little illusion, but like not too much.
I'm in the world of Postgres, but every once in a while I get to play with OpenSearch and I'll open up like the OpenSearch dashboards, which are just like it's just old school Kibana, and I'm like, I forgot how nice this feature was. Of just being able to like fetch a bunch of data and visualize it immediately. One of the things that I considered with this project, I just don't know how to use it, is called PG Dash. It is literally supposed to be like the Kibana of Postgres, basically, where you can have all of this different data just visualized for you, and it does all that stuff. But that being said, I think it is more for managing your database, not necessarily grabbing. Not as much of like, oh hey, let's look at like some information that exists within the database. It's more of here's how you would look at it and manage it. But yeah, that's another one that I was looking at. I believe there's like I'm sure someone, if you just type in Kibana for Postgres, apparently there is a Elastic Postgres connector, which will allow you to do Kibana like things. But that's, you know, for those that don't know, we're both from the school of Elastic DevRel, so I'm sure Philip is watching the VOD now, smiling like. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this one. Alexis, thank you so much for joining me on 2 streams back to back.
Yeah.
This is cool. I kind of want to play with this more, but I also I'm like, I got work to do. I gotta do some more work.
The thing is, we both have the GitHub links,
Yeah.
and if anyone else also wanted to add something to it, that would be cool. I would love to see any ideas that other folks might have.
Let me share the link. Lord, now I gotta find the chat window. Here we go. Let me share the link here, and then we'll if I did the thing, is it really not? No, post to all the places. Come on, what are we doing? Uh-oh. I think I broke something in here. No, okay, it's still working still. There we go. All right, so we added that in there. Oh, it's in preview mode. Get out of there. No, go back to live mode. What are we doing? All right, y'all. This has been fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. You're all fantastic people. And again, I will be streaming tomorrow. You know what? Let's just say same time. So if you want to catch me streaming, I will be building a Secret Santa website. So you can host and manage your own Secret Santas. Hopefully I'm going to get it connected to Twilio, and then you should be able to then have people get notified of who they are a Secret Santa for, and what the budget limit is and all that stuff. But most importantly, they will get reminded before the last minute so that they can give gifts that are not like I needed to stop at Walmart on my way to the actual event. So
Right.
We're gonna be doing that tomorrow. It'll be my first time playing with the Twilio API. If you know somebody who knows Twilio, reach out to me, because I'm probably gonna run up a bill just trying to get text messages going to my phone. But until next time, this has been fun, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Right.